Whether
Like 8 a.m.
Jess thinks I ought to pay attention to her.
I will open up this meeting of the Maynard Planning Board. Today's date is February 11th, 2025, and the time is 7:04 p.m. This meeting is being held in hybrid format, which means that members of the public, applicants and members of the board can participate here in town hall or virtually. Tonight we have we have 5 members present here tonight in the town hall. Please note this meeting is being recorded. Bill, do you want a minute, or should we can look at minutes, or are you ready?
I don't have any minutes ready, so that takes care of that.
Well, then you have to get ready for the public hearing, so I will open up the public hearing for the proposed zoning bylaw amendments for the Springtown meeting for 2025. This is item 2 on the agenda. Bill, I presume you're going to present these to the board and then we can discuss.
I will present them, and my recommendation, I gave you all the original memo that we asked for referral to the planning board because it has a nice summary and we have our,
I passed them already.
and the goal would be we can go through each of these articles, which I think we did briefly when we originally referred them, but we can go through them. And the board is not going to vote to approve or deny these. They're gonna vote. This is for our people at home that are not. I don't think we have anybody tonight, but we might. You're not approving or disapproving the article. You're determining whether you're going to recommend approval to the town meeting. So if these go, these are all sponsored by us, but if the board, if it's their pleasure and they recommend approval, then the board will recommend approval to town meeting and present a report. And at that point, it would be voted on by the town. So I think the most substantive one that we had that had some changes and I just signed it. The most substantive would be the changes to the ADU bylaw. And I think those primarily were as directed by the Attorney General's office. Bill and Natalie and I worked to kind of, I think we truncated some of the passages that we felt were redundant and didn't add anything. The others I'll just run through quickly and the board can ask me if they have any answers and then we can go into deeper if you want, but in general, that's my summary of these. Would you board like me just to run through them in order?
Yes, please.
Okay, so the first one is addition of motor vehicle rental, which is, we don't have a category for this, and for whatever reason, we've had a couple of rental agencies that wanted to come in. The reason we're making that, the reason we're going to add that is to have a way to control it in our business and our central business districts. The reason for this, I don't know if this board recalls, but I had a situation with the zoning board last year where a vehicle rental was proposed to be located in a more of a residential area, and there were questions about the traffic patterns that could be created and so on. So what we're proposing is addition of a definition and locating it in the central business district only by special permit, and leaving it by right in the HCI, the mill, and in the industrial zoning district. And the definitions we took were pretty straightforward. Just for a motor vehicle rent company and for a motor vehicle. The difference with motor vehicle, which we checked a little bit, was that it requires a license to be operated on a public way. And that's basically a summary of motor vehicle rental. Do you have any questions on that, or?
How does this affect the two existing ones in the business district? Do they now need a special permit?
They would need, they're grandfathered in unless they make changes.
What's the definition of change?
Mhm.
What's the definition of change? A new sign? New building?
It could be an expansion of a building, which is, I think there's a percentage, I don't know the exact percentage. But it's the building commissioner would have to determine that, but I don't recall exactly. The use could be a use that alters what the special permit authorized specifically. So for example, let's say somebody wanted to add mechanical uses, we had one that went the other way, so something like that could do it. If they stopped using it for a while, I think it's a 1-year period. Where they didn't operate a business, they would have to come back. That's all I could think of right now.
Would this apply to zip cars and things of that nature?
That's a good question. I would say, aren't zip cars, I don't know if they have a business, like a business office in one location. They must,
They don't, well, no, they
Somewhere.
don't. I mean,
somewhere they must.
yes, somewhere they must, but.
So if they
we're
decide-
talk- If we're talking about just like, the whole point of Zipcar is that it's just cars.
Leave 'em
parked
where you
in
want 'em, right?
Parking spaces, yeah.
But as I understand it, no, but if they came in for whatever reason and said, we're gonna have a motor vehicle company that fit this definition, I suppose it's possible, could be.
So this only applies to principal uses, so. Somebody renting their own car on an app or even Zipcar placement would be a accessory use, it wouldn't be a principal use.
Well, I honestly don't understand the zip car enough. Why, I don't know if that would be an accessory.
Well, forget Zipcar.
All right.
The app guys, you know, they rent their personal vehicle on the app, whatever.
Yeah, I don't think that would apply to this. That would be like,
That's an accessory use and
yeah,
not a.
Yeah.
Principal.
that's right, right. The thinking behind this was, you know, a car agency where people coming in, renting a car, leaving in and out. And returning it, and we have 2, and somebody who's wanted to locate another one.
How does this apply to U-Haul? Is that accessory? Or is that a dual principal use?
Well, U-Haul right now is governed under, we govern it under, outdoor storage of commercial vehicles. It's not governed as like a rental vehicle. And in this case, I would say now, if, our U-Haul at BP came in now, assuming this passed. I would say that would probably fall under this. But right now, because at the time we didn't have it,
The other thing we looked at was storage.
yeah,
It
yeah,
does say that in this one, overnight storage of commercial vehicles.
yeah.
Mhm.
But we couldn't retroactively apply it to you.
Right.
I mean, you know, it really didn't matter, I guess, in this case, because they got a special permit that's. But. Question,
Question?
anything else on that one?
Doesn't seem to be.
Do you want to try to vote on these individually right now, or do you want to wait till we're done?
I'm fine. That's way I'm something done.
Okay. B1, oh yeah. Again, this is just something we didn't have. We didn't have a construction business as a use. And we had a couple of construction offices locate in town. The concern wasn't for a problem with a construction business. It was a question of when would they trigger more than what would be considered normal conditions associated with an office? And the answer would be if they were bringing in overnight vehicle storage or something like that. So that was to address that, we added a provision in the definition of construction business that specifically noted that it was not exempt from the requirements of the zoning bylaws, requiring overnight outdoor parking. So if a construction office was located in our, any of our districts, they could go by right. They don't need anything. But that doesn't mean that you could park construction vehicles there overnight. So there's really nothing restrictive other than it was just to allow it, but make sure that there wasn't a unintended consequence with having construction vehicles parked there overnight.
I'm still lost by the need for this.
Why? This is,
You can't have large vehicles overnight
yeah,
without special permitting regardless.
that's right.
I don't understand what problem this is addressing.
Well, personally, I haven't had any problem with it, but the building commissioner did and has asked for this. It happened enough where he asked for this specifically to do it. So I was brought it in his request. The only construction businesses, well, not the only one, maybe, but we just had one that came in last year, but yeah, that was by request of the building commissioner.
I mean, we have lots of construction businesses.
Mhm.
According to this definition, if you go down to engineering and design,
Mhm.
but I mean, it just seems like those are office things and.
It did.
Well, I feel like this is just allowing by right everywhere, but, so. If you have a landscape company that does hardscape construction, you can. Just do that by right in all those districts. And bring in all your materials and,
In landscape,
yeah.
I think, I don't, geez, I don't have it in front of me.
They construct patios and.
Yeah, no.
walls and-
Are you making a distinction between landscape business and construction business?
No, I'm just saying landscape businesses can do construction, so are they part of this? I'm just-
Yeah, I think we called, I think, no, I think they're separate. I think, let me get the bylaws. I think we have them called out already.
Do we?
I'm not positive.
I don't know, some of them do a lot of construction.
Yeah.
I mean, you build,
I think we
pull
do.
building permits, that equals construction.
Yeah. Well, while we wait for Bill, it's just for the record, this proposal would allow construction business by right in the business, central business, industrial, and the healthcare industrial districts. And then it's a no in the residential districts. I always forget what's GA means. GA?
Garden apartment,
Garden department.
God.
It's GR, big condo.
general residence.
What do we have?
That's where all the pirates live. Grr.
You should.
I'm really sorry.
I could be wrong, Bill. I thought it was.
It just seems like it's opening up a lot of loopholes, or big as of right.
Let me make sure I'm not right.
I just don't see what loopholes it's closing.
Well. No, I guess I thought we did have something, but we don't. No, like I said, it was something that Rick had run into and it seemed, like,
I mean, but what about the equipment?
well, what about it?
The equipment and materials is okay with this construction business?
Well, it's gonna have to conform, it'll have to conform to the standard bylaws for that and, in certain districts, it could be. But in this case, this is just governing in the commercial districts. So in that, I mean, yeah, nothing that, things like for example, outdoor storage of things would probably, I suppose, could trigger something in the general bylaws, I guess, but for general uses. No, I don't see anything. But
I don't really want a pile of rock in the middle of downtown.
a pile of rock,
Yeah, I mean, we're letting it. I got a construction business. I could have taken that Domino's site and just turned that into a storage lot for my construction business.
well, that's a storage use. You can't do
Well,
that.
no, I got the office and I have a bunch of,
Piles of rocks that are coming and
yeah,
going.
backhoe in the back and material storage.
Mm,
That's temporary.
No, I don't think, I think that would all be covered under general bylaws.
Well, I don't want.
Certainly not under ours.
Think at town meeting, I wanna know, so show me something that stops that.
So you, well, wait, well, what's the question then? How do you keep debris from piling outside of an
No, the
office
question is,
use?
what is this article accomplishing?
This is defining a type of office use, the same way that a medical office was separated from an accountant's office. Or there's some distinctions that could be made. Another reason you'd want to make a distinction with this is probably in parking or traffic generation.
So
So
if you're trying to do an office use, I would suggest adding the word office to the construction business office.
construction business office,
And then I would also add a caveat, like you did with the overnight parking, it's like, it does excludes material and equipment storage for that.
Oh, okay.
Just talking an off. I would do something a little different with that definition.
And we do have construction business offices downtown. There could be an architect office downtown.
Yeah.
That would qualify under this.
Yeah.
That's current right now, and I don't see, I think that's an appropriate use of some of the downtown space.
so why don't we do this? Why don't we, on this particular one, we punt this one, I can bring it back with the changes. What was the second thing you said, Bill? You said something,
Well, I would-
excluding
I would-
materials and something.
I would add materials and, I don't know, maybe Chris, you got a better thing, off-road equipment, I don't know.
No, you just said something before that, though, it was good, it was,
Like the Bobcats and the backhoes.
I mean, I call it yellow iron, but that's not appropriate for.
He suggested you add office.
right, we'll add office.
Then add a sentence saying
You said excluding,
excludes
materials.
materials and.
If you wanna talk about like backhoes and stuff like that, we have to say something about, not licensed for travel on public roads or.
Maybe materials and equipment?
why don't you just put materials in it, yeah, equipment. Construction related equipment or something,
We don't want any equipment stored outside in the downtown.
And we don't want them to-
We don't want weed whackers, right? Like,
Right.
so,
would it be screened without screening, or we just want it no?
I think the point of this is that this is meant for a business use for an office use.
Yeah,
So
okay,
that's the point. So I don't wanna talk about everything it's not.
understood. I think it's a good point. I can make those changes and bring it back.
Okay.
Any other questions with construction business? That's a good adjustment. Okay. The next category is fitness club. And you would say, hey, Bill Nauser, why fitness club replacing health club? And the reason is because we use both interchangeably. So, fitness club is, alluded to through the zoning bylaws, so there was no reason to have health club included in the, use table. It just confused things. Wait a minute.
We're
Wait a minute.
striking out fitness club and changing it to health club.
I see we've got this backwards.
Really?
Wait a minute.
I thought you wanted health club. I thought that's.
Yeah, that's what I thought. No, we don't want.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we have fitness club
Right.
Yeah,
in the
we don't like
use
fitness
tables.
overall.
Yeah, okay, no, yeah. I'm just saying, yes,
You're
you're,
right, Bill.
yeah, so health club would be what we're adding. We're eliminating fitness club in the use table.
And the definitions, health club and fitness center are in the same definition.
Right.
Okay, so don't we need to put it that way then?
So it's coming as we would. Where is the? There we go. Fitness.
Very cold.
Right.
I didn't really get into.
We all have the weed.
So in the use table, though, we would add health club.
And keep the definition the same.
Yes.
Now, how does that relate to indoor athletic and exercise facility? That's another definition.
A definition, or is it a use
Is it
table?
used? It's a definition.
Oh, I
So
don't.
it's defined, I'm assuming it's used.
Well, it may be used, but it doesn't mean it's a use.
Yeah,
How about that?
true enough.
I'm just
You have
trying to
search
see.
document.
Oh, no, I don't know the origin of that one.
Oh, that's in the Maynard Crossing District,
Right,
Oh, is it?
that's where that comes up, yeah.
HCI. I mean, the
Indoor
NBOD.
yeah,
And beauty.
principal use number 10, health club, comma, including indoor athletic and exercise facility.
Yeah, that's in the MBOD.
Okay, that's fine.
Yes.
Let's affect to that overlay.
Yeah.
I do have a suggestion on that. The way the article's written, could we add the header? We don't have these ends and Ys that's floating around and we let Tommy go, what the hell?
Add to what? I'm sorry.
Add the header?
This has a header, right, with all the zoning districts, that's what it is.
Yes. Got it. I'll add that to the warrant and then, yeah.
Any further questions or comments on item C, health club fitness club one?
Okay, next is yard. Some people call them setbacks or yards. Again, this was something that Rick had written out, how he, wanted, you could see well, you can see the changes. He wrote this on yard and the definitions. And then we thought it would be good to be, in certain instances to add illustrations now to the bylaws. And, Zoe did a nice job, I think, on the, illustration here. Up, somebody's on. Let's see.
Oh, we were thinking they didn't want the dimensions in there, because they changed.
Oh, right.
And it's certainly didn't.
Right.
Good, as long as I can be coming back and fixing it.
So, I think that was kind of a nice way to do these, have the, people got confused. For some reason, the idea of, gesundheit, of, having being required to meet 2 front yard setbacks was throwing a lot of people. And, it's just basically a corner lot. But anyway,
So the point of this is just to provide clarity. The image provides clarity in what the text says,
that's right.
and the text has some,
Problems that Rick has run into with his, inspections on site. So this is directly from him,
Okay, so instead of porches, we refer to them as landings
right?
instead of slanted.
Any bulkhead,
Bulkheads.
right?
Fences are now gonna be regarding, okay. Instead of lot or street, interior or street lot, okay, so simple changes.
Pretty much, I think. And so that is yard. Any other questions on that? Yard or setback is used interchangeably, Mark. It's kind of depending on what part of the country you're from too.
To be clear, we're not changing, we are not modifying any of the setbacks. At all.
We are not modifying any setbacks. This is strictly definitions and illustrations. Next, I will put Mr. Crenshaw on the spot. And accessory dwelling units, since this has been his baby from the start. And we made a number of changes to this, and I think they're better. Bill, would you mind walking everybody through? And I think you made some good points about a couple of things that we eliminated there.
Yeah, well,
And Natalie was involved with this as well and did a lot of work.
so the big thing was, we did it right, the state did it wrong, but the state's making us do it their way. We wrote our article before the state law was finalized, so we had to adjust our article to fit theirs. One, you can see in 8133, size of the units, we had limited them to 600, and the state says they have to be up to 900. So that's probably the biggest change. I don't know, there's another one. Old sub 5, we said the owner has to live on the property, and the state says, no, the owners don't have to live on the property. So there's nothing we can do about that. And then in number 7. The state has a very legally parking requirement. More oriented towards, Cambridge and here, but we're starting to language. It's pretty much consistent with ours, it's just reworded. And it says, you can't require more than one extra parking space per unit. And it has a reference to, but you can't require anything within a half mile of a transit station, but we don't have anything within a half mile of a transit station.
As of yet,
Doesn't really apply. And then there was a. Section 815 was stricken regarding occupancy permits. No big deal there, so the inspector can still work on that.
Somebody will probably ask about that at the town meeting, I bet.
the occupancy permits,
Yeah,
They're still governed by the standard
right.
with the building inspector. I mean, he's not gonna let anybody move in
Right.
after it's been approved or something. And those are the things, and then the definition in 3, the definition of accessory dwelling unit, we had used an abbreviated version of the draft legislation, but they wanted it expanded a little bit, so now we're using their full definition.
That's the state definition now.
Yeah. It's not, essentially not much different than ours.
Why don't we just refer to the state definition of this and say accessory dwelling unit? Please reference Massachusetts state definition. Or do we not?
Well, because it's
I think there's a little future.
poorly written law and it's just kind of buried in the legislation, it's kind of hard to reference directly.
So if we're just trying to be helpful, let's keep it.
And it has our favorite word in it. Subordinate.
And then the thing actually I have a question of is the amendment of the table of uses to downgrade the as a right in central business and industrial to special permits. I'm not sure but I don't understand why we would need to do that. That's not a state thing. That's.
Yeah, that's a good question. Rick thought that, wait,
central business and industrial.
yeah, because there's not supposed to be single family houses in those districts.
Oh, right.
And he wanted to make sure that anyone that was in there had individual site-specific review.
That's fair.
It
Or just call it no then.
just seems a little unfair to the people with single family homes. In those districts that they have to go through the time and expense of getting a.
But it's not a right under the law with them, and I think Rick felt that the risk outweighed the benefit.
I
I think the risk is that in, like an industrial district or something like that, we don't know what could be there. That was just his opinion, and I
The only housing that we have in industrial district in Maynard today. Is that weird lot at the end of Acton Street that. Is actually sitting in industrial instead of residential.
we got at least one, and I think we have two. We have a split one that's got part of that by the police lab there.
Right, yeah, that's what they're.
Okay, so we're talking about a total of 3 potential houses?
No, in central.
In the
business-
industrial,
in
central business has a lot.
Yeah.
And I know that Rick's concern with central business had more to do with. These single family residences are already in the central business district. Do we want to allow them to have accessory units? Which. makes
Might
them
not
even
work.
More. Yeah,
I kind of see the central business because of the site logistics. It's not a terrible thing to, just to make sure people can. talk about it.
Hopefully River Street is not.
and the few single family, are there single family houses on Main Street?
No, Maine,
Not in the central. What about north of Mason or north of Summer? Is that central business?
part of it is, it's business on the one side, central business on the other.
Thank you.
Uh,
So, yeah, we're talking about River Street
Summer Street,
and then maybe some houses, what, on the other side of the rail trail? Behind.
Not much.
the Subway?
no,
No?
none of that is a single family currently. Stuff behind the post office.
Do you know that you're in the downtown overlay district, by the way?
Well, am I just outside of it? It's kind of weird.
No, you are. I've looked before. I'm not a fan. Of the fact that you're in the downtown overlay.
Yeah, I guess it's just the River Street ones, so.
And,
Oh, and the one,
This is,
the one next to the
Overlay
police
district?
chief, right? That's it.
No.
that's me.
oh, that's you?
The gray, yeah,
No, he thinks he's in agreement there, so.
yeah. Oh,
Right here.
yeah, but look at the outline of the gray.
It's weird.
Yeah,
It says,
Salmon here.
no, so that
that's
is,
outside, that's inside
that's me, the one you just.
this one?
No,
Oh,
that's me.
no.
Oh, you guys figure this out later.
Okay.
Anyway, no problem, I mean,
We got like 1.5 in industrial, we got like 5 in CV probably.
I feel like for 5 houses, if Rick feels like it would be beneficial, I'm willing to,
he's out there in the trenches.
indeed.
Rick is the building commissioner, Mark.
No, if you feel really strongly about it, Bill, it's fine,
No, I just, you have to explain it at town meeting, so.
There was a 4-1 vote at town meeting for recommendation. Who was the one? And you can all just,
Is that, this is the building commissioner's recommendation.
I
It's
mean,
for
I
a
guess,
handful of properties.
I guess because single family is not allowed and we want the remaining ones to go away.
It kind of makes sense. It kind of makes sense that since they're not allowed, let's just have a conversation about it and get it out.
Correct.
By allowing an ADU by right, it's making it by right more non-conforming,
Yeah.
so let's not do that.
Right. That's fair.
Okay.
I'm fine with keeping it.
Oh, we also have the ones on Hillside. Is there any single family left on that?
oh, hillside, I don't know.
There's a
I'm
couple.
not sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
there's a
It's
couple.
on the riverside though, I don't know.
Oh, I don't know if there's any single
family
there.
left there.
I can't remember.
There's definitely duplexes.
Oh, yeah, yeah, duplex.
All right, whatever, never mind.
Okay.
What about, we have ADUs in the use table somewhere? I don't.
Yes, accessory,
It'd be under here.
Right,
although,
this is the May 15, 2023.
yeah, that's been updated,
That's been updated?
yeah.
Okay, my bad.
Yeah,
When's that gonna happen, by the way?
huh?
When's that gonna happen, by the way?
Well, we didn't wanna just print it just to get rid of it. I mean, we're printing, you talking about why, when are we gonna print?
Updated online.
Oh, because we just got, no,
Last town meeting, yeah.
yeah, no, because we just got the okay with the,
Just,
Right.
we
yeah,
just had the.
we literally just had it, so we'll,
The ADU.
Yeah,
was not too long ago.
Yeah.
That just. And and the gun stuff, none of
but
that.
yeah, no, that's not on there either, no. We just got the AG approval a few months, a month ago or something, and then with the ADUs and stuff, we haven't done it yet.
Yeah, I mean, we should, online, we should probably
Yeah,
tag those articles with the zoning bylaws, so if somebody's looking for the.
Yeah, I
zoning
think that-
bylaw, they know.
I think that's a good point, I think,
Like me.
Any other questions on this one? This is number E, or number E, letter
Number
E, letter E.
E1, it says.
That's for drawing units.
okay. Uses, this is by request of somebody who came in and correctly pointed out that we have, our table A use tables would be the table of uses in one paragraph, the table A use regulations in another paragraph, section 3, table A, and blah, blah. So in essence, we are going to call table of uses, table A use regulations, and it just mandates, it just makes it consistent throughout. I can't sum that up any better than that.
Are all of the things we were talking about updated? Probably,
No, have they been?
well, like what we're going through tonight.
Oh,
Oh, no, this is alluding to it. So like when you're reading it,
Do we allude to that in any of the new things we're updating
That's-
tonight?
That's what I'm saying.
oh, that's a
Make
good
sure it's
question.
right. if we do.
That's a good point, I will double check
As in
that.
the previous item, accessory dwelling units.
right, use regulation table A.
Yeah, like in the construction business, we say incorporating, the amendment would amend table A, section 4. I don't know how the weeds we can get it.
No, you're
Oh, we
absolutely
don't
right.
change the name till later in the article.
Everything before is okay, and everything after this one is
Yes.
gonna be.
And then it gets changed.
It's a good point.
Well, actually, there's one, under item or letter B tonight, it says. It says that the amendment would amend table A, section 4.
Right. Definitely.
Table A use
We
regulations.
should say table A use regulations, section 4. Right?
We'll check all this.
Am I correct about that?
It would be, let's see, use regulations, table,
Oh, here we go.
Yeah,
I can go back to the motor vehicle one. Right, motor vehicle. It says amend section 1.3.1.2, use regulations table, comma, table A.
same thing with.
We are living in chaos.
Same thing with construction business.
And by the way, it's not table A period use regulation, it's table A dash in the manual. Oh, man.
Do not.
This is how it's going out here.
So we will ensure consistency on all these.
The new changes.
Well, we don't wanna make a change that still is making confusion.
Yeah.
Of course, we are authorizing the changes to everything with it, so.
Just get one of those down.
It's
It
a
says
dash.
table A, period, use regulations.
Well, what do you want? You want it to say table A, right? Table,
So the title of the table,
what's the title of the table?
3.1.2, table A dash use regulations.
Oh, I do like a dash better than a period personally.
You too.
Here, here,
Change it all to a dash.
Okay.
we should.
I think it's an M dash and not an N dash.
That's right. That's right. Delay that vacation another day.
You brought it up.
No, it's a good point. It's an excellent point. Okay. Mixed use definitions, this should be. This was, Natalie, you were this one, right? We came up with this?
Yeah,
Can you give us some backstory on this? I can't remember exactly.
oh, it was. People, someone was worried,
Oh, no, not that, but I mean, how we arrived at this.
I know, someone was worried that mixed use. Would mean someone would come in and use, put an office on the, in the downstairs and another office upstairs, I don't know, like something slightly different upstairs and call it mixed use, when the whole point is that it is residential. And that we don't care which is upstairs and which is downstairs. So the new definition descriptive of a parcel that has been zoned to permit residential use paired with a non-residential use.
The zoned, but so,
So this also means that if you have a large enough parcel to support. This is the whole thing we got into, two small buildings,
right,
then one could be an office and one could be an apartment.
right. But,
And if it's big enough to support that, then we don't care.
but we're saying, now I shouldn't even do this, because I'm getting myself, now I'm gonna get myself. If the parcel is zoned mixed use,
Yeah,
okay, this is a mixed use parcel, that means you can do these things.
But nothing is, no, mixed use. The only reference to mixed use is in an overlay district.
Well, no.
It's not zoned mixed
We-
use. This is a parcel that has been zoned to permit mixed
Mi-
use.
Right, so, if we have, and we're gonna have them with the new ones, with the new PMOD, right? They're overlays. But my question was, if. Okay, description of a parcel that has been zoned to permit residential use paired with non-residential uses. Or descriptive of a building that pairs residential use with non-residential use.
Mhm.
So saying a parcel or a building. So my question is, and I can't remember why we did it. Are we saying there always has to be a residential component to mixed use?
Yeah.
That was what
that's what
Rick
we
had,
came upon.
right, okay,
It's not a medical office and a retail shop.
right, okay,
It's not mixed use.
right, okay. Yeah, so there you go, that's why.
So. Two things. The second part of it, descriptive of a building that pairs residential use with non-residential use. Our intent with that is always the res is on the bottom, or commercials on the bottom. And res can be on the bottom and above, but there's always commercial on the bottom.
Why?
But this does not say that has to be, so is that, all right? I'm just saying it's different than what we've been doing.
We designate. Residential has to be on the bottom in the downtown overlay district.
Commercial.
Commercial.
Yeah, whatever, back, reverse of what I just said.
Wherever we talk about. mixed
Right,
use in our
but-
zone, which is very limited.
Right,
we
it's in the
say
DOD right
commercial on
now.
the ground floor and residential somewhere.
Mm,
Is that correct?
So if someone wanted to build a rooftop bar restaurant. And have residential on the ground floors,
yeah, what would we say? Right,
right,
well, in the downtown overlay district, they can't do
Bill would definitely say no,
that. Many wouldn't.
he's scared.
In the PMOD, he might not know.
Drink.
Well, the DOD, let's just stipulate, the DOD takes care of itself, because we wrote the thing specifically, it said it has to be on the ground,
Yes,
but outside of the DOD. And do we care? Why do we put it on the DOD?
It is.
I remember the conversation we had, why we put it in the DOD, that you had to have ground floor.
Because we're trying to activate the street.
Activate the street, and we also do, because we did that, we talked about, home businesses, home-based businesses and stuff, we wanted. People to walk by and see commercial activity, not somebody sitting in their skivvies watching TV. And, But this is like at Maynard Crossing. What if there was something at Maynard Crossing that? Or on Powder Mill Overlay District, is it worth even are we? Do we care?
So the whole point of the intent of this is to stop mixed use from being interpreted as variety of commercial uses.
That's kind of it. That's what I was trying to get.
Alright, so in regards to the building itself and whether there's commercial on the ground floor. If we think that the DOD keeps it on the ground floor, we don't care about the other districts. Then
Yeah,
that's fine, I just want us to understand.
yeah, because, well, think about Maynard Crossing. Wouldn't we say then that Halsted has to have?
No, I'm talking in the same building. There's two.
Yeah, but we said this could be two.
No,
Right,
I'm just doing
okay.
the second part of the description first, and then I'll get back. to the
Okay.
first one. The second part, talking about the building itself, I just want everybody to be aware that
Mhm.
it will not, outside of the DOD, require the commercial to be on the ground floor.
That's the way I read it.
You care?
Probably not, if the DOD has it, then it's fine, outside of the DOD, I'm like, well, if you're doing that on.
I know the two guys that wrote that one.
Powder Mill or doing it on,
Right.
Yeah.
down at the old trolley barn, whatever, I don't care. Alright, so then back to the parcel.
What about the mill buildings?
They have their own.
But we would,
Oh, there's a.
if we had mixed use, could you have some residential on some of the lower floors of the mill and then businesses up above?
Mhm.
Under this definition, yes.
I would say good. I don't, and I know already in the mill, we don't specify that.
And we wouldn't wanna actually get in the way of that, probably.
Probably not,
No, the mill has its own,
but we're just talking about the definition of mixed use.
yes,
The mill's not in the DOD?
no,
No, it's
Yeah.
not. But the mixed use would apply to the mill as well, because it's just a definition. Even if it,
HCI is its own zoning category,
sure, but
Do they allow mixed use?
yeah. But not, it's not called mixed use, it's called residential. In there, they don't. The idea is that the mill can be developed up to 15% of the mill can be developed residential.
Well, that's a parcel that's been zoned to permit residential use paired with non-residential use.
And what? Was the end?
So that's a parcel that's permitting res and non-res.
Yes, you could go in, I mean, theoretically, they could go in tomorrow. If you use the exact building. The existing buildings. You could put 50% of that residential now.
Mhm.
And that would be mixed use parcel, I would say. I mean, that's the mix of
under the old definition, they could only do mixed use if the commercial or retail is on the bottom floors. On the bottom floor.
in the DOD, only the DOD. The DOD, the only reason where we put that in was we did this a couple of years ago.
So the mill can't do mixed use in one of their buildings,
No, they could.
but then this definition would apply to them, wouldn't it?
Well, I mean, it would, is it a building that prepared a residential use with a non-residential use? Potentially,
Yeah.
but we're not saying that every building would have to be mixed use.
Oh,
We're
of
saying,
course.
right,
That's
the
what-
parcel would in that case. Yeah. And because it's its own zoning district, it has its own, its own,
Yeah, no, I get that.
yeah, that's what, I mean, that's,
Yeah,
it's a good question, yeah.
okay. So. Who has another comment on this? We've talked around it already. Anyone have a different comment? Any objections to this?
We'll be online. So, one person online.
Okay, I'm not asking for public comment yet, I'm gonna open that up later. Okay, so we're good with this one?
You want someone to fill about the first part of that statement?
Well, I'm good, I was trying to figure out what parcels were zoned to permit that use, and I guess every parcel is that has residential uses and business uses on the use table.
Yeah. Yeah,
I mean, this makes more sense. I don't wanna limit someone that's like, maybe they have. An accessory home-based business or an accessory use above their garage. Right? Would that be mixed use?
They're accessory use.
That's accessory
Not
use.
principal. Well, actually, that's not true, because mixed use is not a use. Mixed use is a definition.
Definition, right? We're
Not
talking
a
about
use.
So. So under that case. Under that case, the current definition would not allow someone to have an accessory business above their garage. Under the current.
Yeah, there's problems with the current definition.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And
I like this new definition, I think is substantial.
but I guess pretty much because of the accessory thing, actually, everything has been zoned to allow the parent. But it doesn't matter, it's just a definition, it's not a use.
Right, it's just a definition. Okay. We good? Okay.
Yeah.
Bill, you wanna move on?
I will move on.
H. Bicycle park.
This is a cool one. This was Bill and Natalie again. This basically adds a requirement for bicycle parking. And it applies to units with more than 8 projects with more than 8 units. And they have to after that, they have to have bicycle parking at 1 per unit. So everybody has to have a place, after 8 dwellings, everybody has to have a place to store a bicycle. With 1 per unit. We had to, because we couldn't place additional restrictions in PMODA, that's our MBTA communities district, so we have to be careful with that. That's why that was excluded, Mark. And, so we did that, and, didn't we put something in here about, wait. Oh, okay, yeah, we're gonna put, we wanna redo the standards, that we need to do that in the rules and regulations, but that'll be done, we're gonna be amending our rules and regulations soon enough. But we do have to define exactly what we want for the units. But this is a good upgrade, I think.
Can I ask about the logic behind the maximum of 10 required per building? I mean, if we end up with a very large development, do we want to cap it at 10 bike spots?
We don't cap it. We just have a minimum, they can add as many as they want,
Maximum required.
they can have as many as they want, we're just saying you gotta have leave.
So we're not gonna require over 10 per building, but they can do what they want.
Sure, yeah. Yes.
Right, I mean, I think that's a good point, Chris,
Would you like it to be a larger?
I'm just thinking of,
Maximum?
some of the, earlier this year proposed developments. You could have had a lot of units. They would only have to put in 10 bike spots.
Well, except it's per building.
Wait a minute. What
So
units-
if you're referring to a project that had multiple buildings,
Right.
I think that they would have to have a place of parking for each one.
Right.
Yeah. It's
So,
saying
yes,
that if you,
you had a massive 200 unit single building, we might have a problem. But
yeah,
But we're only talking commercial buildings. Residential buildings have their own rules.
Oh, I'm sorry, this,
Residential is all 1 per unit. Could be, if it's 100 units, then it has to have 100 bike parking spaces. If it's residential, we're just talking commercial has the lower number.
maybe that's not clear. Yeah, okay, wait, okay, so all projects with more than 8 dwelling units shall provide covered and secure bicycle parking at a rate of 1 per unit.
We might want to say one per dwelling unit, just to reiterate.
1 per dwelling, unit, okay?
So if I'm reading this correctly, the first paragraph, paragraph 1, that is for residential units.
Yeah.
Paragraph 2 is non-residential, correct?
And we're saying that, yeah, so not less than 1 space for each 10 motor vehicle.
This is
Right.
residential, that is non-residential.
Can we make that more clear?
Yeah, can we?
Yeah,
We like add residential from the first one with
Oh, why don't we just put as an introduction?
non-residential?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that would solve the whole thing.
How'd you come up with 8 though?
Oh, man. Because 8 is consistent with our requirements for loading areas for delivery and third-party app deliveries. So any multifamily that has more than 8 units has to have a space for their.
And we don't use any prime numbers in the zoning bylaws.
Right.
And those are good. That's good stuff. Good catch, Chris. Good change, guys. Anything else on that one?
You have to do something with 3.
We should probably do that before town meeting. We should probably.
Get Zoe drawing. We get Zoe to draw it.
Regs Before town meeting.
I've drawn some.
Did you?
Mhm.
Good. Well, maybe you can ship them over.
Yeah,
yes, we,
I've got a draft of the planning board updates,
good.
Okay.
rules and regs
I
updates.
fully agree, we need that done before we go to town meeting.
Okay,
Yeah, 'cause we've already gone over the text, we just.
That's fine.
Other than you got stuff other than the bicycle parking too? For the rules and regs?
no,
Okay,
I only have bicycle parking.
yeah, I wanna throw some other stuff in there too.
Okay, that's
But
fine.
yeah,
I
So
just drew a
let's-
picture and we
okay,
talked about
good,
being the end of.
okay.
Or whatever.
Anything else on that one?
Sorry to interrupt.
Oh.
We, here in this. In this amendment. We are referring to the changes in the planning board rules and regulations as bicycle parking guidelines.
Yes.
That's a fine title. For the planning board rules and regulations.
I think it's,
I'm just saying, if we put that title in, that's the title we need to use in the rules and
I
regulations.
feel like.
That's right.
I feel like it's a pretty good,
But unicycle parking.
cycle parking, should we just call it cycle parking?
It's just gotta be consistent.
I like it.
I don't know, I don't have an answer. I have a question.
I think it's wonderful.
Non-licensed
Bicycle.
vehicle,
It's been a long
No.
time.
You don't even know.
vehicles, you don't need a motor vehicle license to operate on a public road or byway.
bicycle parking is, I think it's splendid.
Be easy to find.
Well,
And I
we
think the
have-
person with unicycle would know what to search for.
we have a vehicle and traffic parking, so. It's just called vehicle traffic parking,
Really?
yeah. Not guidelines, vehicle traffic parking.
Okay, so you wanna do bicycle parking?
I don't know, couldn't. Pedestrian circuit. I mean, to be consistent, it probably should just be bicycle
Do
parking.
we use guidelines anywhere else?
Not, not,
Right?
I'm not seeing it for sort of titles.
Are you in the rules and regs?
This is,
Are they the most up to date? I don't know.
yeah, these are.
Yeah, the rules and regs are up to date.
Can we just make the G lowercase? In this
I'm
article?
stopping.
No, seriously.
Oh, yeah, you could do that. So then I wouldn't,
Bicycle parking,
Do what?
lowercase g on guidelines. It makes it more consistent with the other section we have in the planning board's rules and regs for,
This will be stuff.
Should we not
Sorry, do you wanna
should we
put-
not capitalize any of bicycle and parking and guidelines?
no, we can do that.
No, bicycle parking should be capitalized, but just. Lowercase guideline, because I don't want to strike the word guideline, because it reads funny.
Yeah, I agree with that. Let's do that. Make it a lowercase g, and
Yeah.
then, because then the section in the planning board rules and regs would just be bicycle parking, which would match. The other sections is like traffic
Okay,
parking, vehicle parking.
yeah, I think it makes sense. But that's oh, yeah, right, yeah, right. Mhm.
Okay.
Excellent, and we got,
Move on to I.
yeah, we'll schedule, what we'll do with the rules and regs, we'll schedule that in another, another meeting, okay. I is, oh, that's just, that was the moving of the, the semicolon to a colon,
Is that what that is?
yes.
Oh, my God.
Okay, so we're changing the notes.
You can't do that without a meeting.
We really can't do that?
Here's the
Don't
deal.
Stand up in front of 500 people and say, we need to change a colon to a semicolon to a colon.
This is 11 o'clock at night after 3
It's-
override
it's-
votes.
So have Bill do it, have him do it.
It might be this time, we'll find out.
Maybe this is the new guy. Bring it.
Oh, that's right, yeah. New members have to present.
Yeah, they.
Throw to the wolves.
And now Mark will present on the.
Yeah,
colon.
good thing I'm not the new guy anymore.
The evils of the semicolon.
So we do need this?
Yes, because it changes, yeah.
It does say clarification of punctuation in the title. I kind of missed that.
I have to stand up and say colon now. Okay. Okay.
So that's all I have. Now,
All right, so I will open this up for public comment. So anyone that's members online, if you would like to enter a public comment, please use the raise hand feature or turn on your video and raise your hand. We'll call you. For members in the room tonight, if you would like to make a public comment, please raise your hand and identify yourself. If you'd like to make a public comment, that's fine. And not seeing any public comments online,
No.
either, Bill, I think we can move on.
so at this point, we could go through the unit, the exhibits one at a time. If you want, we were gonna,
So I was taking notes. Okay, hold on. So there are a number of these
Mhm.
proposals. They also need to change, to go back and change use regulation or table A dash use regulation.
yeah, and all of them pretty much,
Do we want to just clean this up and bring it to
next week or next,
time?
yeah, let's do that.
That way it's abundantly clear and clean.
I think it's a good idea.
Is
Okay.
there time? What's the deadline for the printing of the warrant?
It's not then. I can't remember.
One of them is, there are two.
That one was the end of the month.
One of them is the end.
It might not be for printing, it might be for receipt of final, but. I don't want to. At town meeting, change it.
Can't we just say it's discussed tonight?
What's that?
Can we just vote on it and say as just like with replacement of table reference texts to what we discussed tonight?
We could have the chair, that changes.
Oh, yeah, let's do that.
Oh, breaking news.
Uh-oh.
I'll tell you after the
Town
vote.
meeting?
No, it's all good stuff.
Okay, I have this.
Holy,
February 28th, deadline for submittal of all draft warrant articles to select board
Draft.
office. March 14th, select board publishes notices of calling annual town warrant.
yeah, I got some. I can look it up in my office if you want. Let's see.
So the 28th is only a draft. No, we can even miss.
Oh, is that what it said? It was only draft?
So we can wait until. the
February
next meeting.
20th is the draft. Deadline for draft.
What else is on the next meeting?
Nothing yet.
Great.
It might be, I'm not gonna be here. I mean, I'll be at the meeting. But Zoe will be in touch with you guys if there's anything, but it may be,
Sorry, just put so we're clear, February 14th, deadline for submission of placeholder draft warrant articles.
Oh, wait, we have Steph right here, can ask us.
Select board.
Hey, Steph,
Oh, that's like that.
what?
Well, that's a deadline for submission of placeholder.
What's the matter?
draft warrant.
Sunflower, okay.
Oh, wait, we have a question though for you. We actually,
Me?
yes. You can see you coming to the planning board with me. Do you remember offhand the town meeting, the warrant, when we have to have the warrant articles in?
I do not, no, I'm sorry, someone else asked
I'm
me.
glad you don't know. That's good. Don't put that in your brain.
I.
I have it in the other room. Let me get it in the other room.
Well,
Chris,
I mean, I have it right here. It
Oh, you
says February 14th, deadline for submission of placeholder draft warrant articles.
but
And
that's
then
just a placeholder.
February 28th, deadline for submittal of all draft warrant articles to select board. That's February 28th.
What's our next meeting after?
The next meeting is.
25th.
25th.
Yeah, it'll be
All right.
Yeah, that's fine.
Sorry, happy to help.
Hi, Steph. Okay,
So we probably need to authorize submitting the draft outline or whatever.
what draft outline?
You can have it by the- Yeah, a draft placeholder.
We have to submit draft placeholders by February 14th, okay?
Which is basically
I
just
thought I already did.
title of all these things. Oh, maybe you did. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know if you did.
Probably.
Well, I will make a motion to submit the presented town warrant articles, as draft placeholder for town, for spring town meeting.
Okay, I'll get those, I'll make sure they're in tomorrow.
I'll second that.
I think I already did.
Does
but from
everyone
the-
understand that motion? Yeah, okay. All in favor of that motion, please raise your hand. That's 5-0. Support that motion. That's just in case, Bill,
Okay.
you need to.
Yeah.
have that.
Do you want to continue this until next week and until next, meeting and I'll bring them up the cleaned up ones on the 26th?
I think so.
Okay, so we just need a motion to continue them all.
So
Because
I'll make a
public
motion to continue the hearing to February 25th at 7 P.M.
Second.
All in favor for the continuance, please raise your hand. 5-0 to continue
Okay, thank you.
that public hearing. It's the end of that public hearing, so,
Yeah, that's the end of the public hearing.
so Bill, if you want to give us a planner update.
Well, planner update. Throwing you out of here. They're a hospitable bunch. The planner update. Okay, well,
We have a couple of things. We have officially. I submitted a letter, expression of interest today. For complete streets improvements, complete streets style improvements for all town of Quarter. I do not expect it all to get. I asked for all funding, which was
Great.
$600,000.
Great.
It's broken down though, so if it comes in. If it comes in, maybe we can get our 25% phase, which would give us a survey and a conceptual plan and this type of thing. So that's in. Still waiting to hear back on the housing production plan. Grant, which I'm hoping to get. The other thing that has arisen. And Chris could probably speak to it better than I can, but I'll try to give you a little background.
That's you, not me.
Good. Both
Oh, wait, you can spell my name right.
Chris squared. Chris, that wasn't with a K, that was with a C. So battery energy storage systems have become a popular amenity for a lot of projects to add, and essentially they collect electricity and save it and use it for peak times or whenever it's needed. So how it's generated, I guess can be a number of different ways. It could be solar. I don't know what the other ways are, but so why do we care about that and why am I bringing it up? Because these tend to use a lithium battery and these can be very large and they can have some a number of impacts. And there's probably more instances that a board like ours would want to know about that and have some input into the siting of these facilities. Probably more often than not. On the other hand, and this, I'm not sure if I'm 100% right, ask anybody who knows better to correct me. But I think facilities that utilize solar energy are free from some local zoning restrictions. And they can obtain exemptions from all zoning restrictions, I believe, by the public utility siting boards. So, anyway. Somebody approached us about putting one at Maynard Crossing. Maynard, the developers of Maynard Crossing have these all over the place. They have all of their projects. I think they use them right now. There are a number of concerns about this. I met with the fire chief, building commissioner, and most of it, when you understand it, which I don't totally, but it seems like they're understood, and if they're handled correctly, it's fine, but you want to make sure that they're cited correctly and handled correctly, and the regulations make sense in wherever they can for your community. So for example, fires can be, fire starts with the lithium battery. It is typically the response the fire department uses is to let it burn itself out. They don't want to put water on it because it can it can have a detrimental effect on the water table. I guess it can explode too if you put water on it. If they can a fire can appear to be out and then it reignites. But it's not they deal with these a lot with like in a small scale like cars and things like that. But in any event, it's something you want to look at. For that reason, they're also regulated by the Board of Health in a lot of communities, so we would probably do that as well. So I met with town council to discuss this because I not knowing a lot about it. And they do unequivocally recommend we put in what we can put in for our regulatory framework in our bylaws. I contacted a lot of my colleagues around the state, and there are some technical aspects that I'm not familiar enough with to really comment on, so I need some professional help. The developer, as is the case with a lot of other communities, has offered to help write these, which in a way is good because you do get some technical expertise. But I would want it done in conjunction with our town legal to make sure that they are acting in our best interest. So we would do that. That's my tentative plan right now. Chris with a C, came in, sorry, got them mixed up. No, Chris Arsenal came in and has some experience with this, and
No, that's not sort of, yes.
So anyway, we think we have a plan to get going. We'll look at that for the fall town meeting, probably.
The short version is that we don't have zoning on this, and we should just have zoning on this. Not just for this project, but in general to help guide what this looks like around town. For any other. That's the short version.
The last thing I have, I've been working with Bill and Natalie on the Powder Mill Overlay districts. Sub-districts, and I am requesting, and I asked them both to, and I don't know, but I think I'm not comfortable bringing it with this time frame. I'd like to try to shoot for the fall. And that part of the goal would be we had some discussions with Public Works regarding pros and cons of constructing bicycle and pedestrian improvements on a parcel by parcel basis, as opposed to part of a cohesive plan for the entire corridor district, which I don't have the funding for. I've applied for it. I don't have it yet. I've also we've also been trying to figure out how to assess if it's gonna be a monetary contribution from a developer, how do we assess the amount that's paid? Just to give, Chris and Mark a little background on this, we ran into a situation like this when we wanted to, in the downtown overlay district, we wanted to have people getting a density bonus contribute to our, open space and recreation fund. So we're like, okay, so if you're getting 10 extra units on your site, okay, that theoretically, it means 10 extra households need open space. And so this board developed a pretty creative calculation that we can use, and it eliminates. It keeps us from being willy-nilly with developers, so they know what to expect, and it gives you can look at it and see what you're gonna owe and why. I thought it would be beneficial to have something like this for the bicycle and pedestrian improvements, or to have
It's the
improvements
sidewalks.
constructed.
Who is it who brought up the sidewalks? It's their fault. It's Jeff's fault.
We voted,
At the last meeting,
executive session.
Jeff brought up the sidewalks and the sidewalks are the problem, so. It's because of Jeff. He's not here tonight, so.
Yeah.
But in this case, it's actually accurate, so.
Yeah, so anyway, I, with our deadlines here, I don't see any way to do this, and it's just, so that's what I would like to, I just don't think that can be done.
That's fine.
What's the status of the developer with battery storage? Do they want to do it now?
3 years.
Oh.
Yeah, they thought 3
We've got
years.
time.
Well, that's what they said, 3 years, but the permitting, I think the permitting through the state is over a year, right, Chris?
That I don't know, but
Yeah.
I don't know how long they want. I don't know when they intend to come to Maynard. to
Well,
request it.
well, we're meeting with them. I sent you the invitation. Or actually, they sent it to you today. We'll be
Okay.
meeting with them at the end of February, get the details.
But you're saying if it's solar, then they can bypass certain,
There's federal regulations that allow them to bypass zoning.
And
but
stay.
they're still gonna have to do like safety requirements and like.
Oh, yeah. No, they default to the state. Yeah.
Okay,
So there's still fire code that needs to be
Yeah.
complied with. There's still building codes that need to be complied with. It's just zoning.
Right.
Meaning like. If you
can't
had,
put it here.
if you zoned it out. The federal regulations would say, no, you can't zone that out there.
Okay.
You're allowed to go there.
There's things like citing it near, some of the residential areas would be a question. Also, there are noise regulations that the state has to regulate these too. I don't know what noise they make, but at Maynard Crossing, I'd rather not have a lot of noise for residential uses.
Okay, in the one, I don't know, we'll figure it out.
Yeah, so that's the dope.
So who does town council work with? What other towns have they work with on this that we can?
I've got them all.
Not yours, town council is gonna be working on it, so I assume they've worked on it before with other towns.
Yeah.
'Cause if they haven't, I'd rather get different town councils.
No, they have, they have,
They
and
have worked with other towns.
they have, and they're doing it now. I don't know off the top of my head. They did tell me. There's a number of them, yeah, and I have
You
them.
get Bill's point.
I do.
Yeah.
I do. I do.
Okay.
So what about the other zoning stuff? I mean, do we have to submit placeholders for that? I mean.
What other zoning stuff?
What about the AMI thingy? The 6% AMI, I thought that was advertised. Changing the exclusionary zoning. To allow the 60% AMI trade to open to.
Yeah, we did. What were we doing with it?
You advertised it, right?
Gotta check. I don't think that we did. I don't think we did. There was something we were waiting for on that, wasn't it? I'll check that. Yeah, the 60%, the 2-for-1.
Yeah. Regardless, we have to submit a placeholder for it.
Yeah.
By Friday. I thought it was advertised.
No, why didn't we do that? No, I'm asking, Natalie and Bill.
We were doing other things.
No, was it?
Advertised, though.
Okay, I'll get to the bottom of that tomorrow.
Thinkers. Don't know how to implement.
No, because we wanted to get that changed in the inclusionary.
It's a pretty simple thing,
It was real simple.
but I think we have to. We have to submit as a placeholder and then we have to act on it next week. To submit the draft and then. Hope it doesn't change during the year.
I'm totally, yeah, you're right. I'm sure we had a reason that we didn't do it though. We was, okay, I'll get to the bottom of it. I'll let y'all know tomorrow. If worst comes to worst, we'll just do it while I'm gone off. It's no big deal. We get it referred to, and we can do stuff out of order, but we have to have
Oh,
it
we have to
advertised.
send it to them. Oh,
Is it, so it hasn't been sent to the select board yet?
We gotta do that now, cause they meet Tuesday.
Yeah, they're meeting on Tuesday.
Yeah,
Send
yeah,
it back.
we can have it done the other way around, but yeah, I'll get it out tomorrow if it needs to. But okay, I know that's the reason we didn't do it.
Do we need to vote to send it to select board? I don't think we need to do that.
No,
You can bring it, you're allowed to bring it. to
yeah, I can bring it
select
myself to,
board, Right, okay.
But you're gonna be gone.
yeah, but I'll have it done.
But technically, we have to put a placeholder in for it.
And I don't actually know.
What the hell
if
did
he
we
can
do
vote
with
to
that?
have a placeholder in it, I think he can just, no, I did that just out of precaution.
Yeah, I mean, he's an officer, he can do anything he wants with,
Right.
with articles, right, yeah, sure.
What did we do with that?
So put a placeholder in,
Yeah,
get it to the select board, one of us can join the select board meeting if necessary.
Yeah,
To talk.
yeah, but it was just, all that we did was just make that one alteration, right?
We changed the number from 1.2 to 2.0. that's all.
Yeah, we, but, and it was,
That's gonna have to be Bill.
why didn't we run it through? Okay, all right. Something, we're forgetting something that we had on that day.
Okay, well, if you come up with it, then
Yeah, but do all that. Yeah,
Consider it done.
do all that. There's also a lighting standard update on this, for the planner update. You wrote it down, so you might as
No,
well.
it's there, and I never hear
Um, there's a group in town. That is called the Dark Sky Compliant Group. Now, just to give you a little background, we require. Dark sky compliant, lighting on all our projects that we do, and that's basically lighting. There's a number of features of it, and it's very common now, you can get it at. It's not like, anything super difficult to obtain. But we mandate. On our projects, dark sky compliant. There's a group that is, and there's a number of reasons that it's desirable to have dark sky. Compliant lighting in a community, whether it's wildlife, light pollution, and so on. However, we do not regulate. Like a single family home. We've tried to do that in the zoning board where we're issuing a permit and we have a jurisdiction over it or something like for a special permit. But. I think the one of the goals of the lighting group is to, Chelmsford implemented a general bylaw, I believe it is. I don't think it's a zoning bylaw. Requiring dark sky compliance throughout the town within like a 10-year period or something. They're hoping, the dark sky compliant folks are hoping to do something similar here. What I suggested they do, I met with them a couple of weeks ago. I suggested before we go anywhere, review what we have on the books in our landscape regulations, in our planning board regulations, in our zoning bylaws, and make any recommendations to you guys first. And let's start there. I also said, I do not see, and I don't think the planning board should. At this point, undertake anything to attempt to reach and, to go beyond what we have now for our projects. I think if a general bylaw is the will of the people, so be it, then it goes in, but But I think, right now, our zoning bylaws. And our planning board regulations and landscape regulations should be adjusted after the review. So I've asked them to present it to us first before we go any further. I've also suggested that the Dark Sky Group begin an educational campaign, so if they do decide to go with general bylaws, that the public understands the benefits of this, and that's something that would be. Like I said, overall, I think it's a very good thing for a community anyway, but I think that, I think this board should start with what we have on the books and tweak it and then go from there.
So, stop me if I'm explaining something you guys already know, but the town has a town charter and town bylaws. Right, sometimes they're referred to as the general bylaws. And then the planning board under the town has our protective zoning bylaws. So we work off the protective zoning bylaws. Something like this, that would be townwide, would probably go into the general town bylaws that have nothing to do with the planning board. We don't have regulatory control over that.
Who creates
at all. There's a town charter committee
Bylaw committee.
and a bylaw committee, and then the select board has authority over that too, over the town.
Bylaw committee prepares it with selectmen input and then presents it to town meeting.
But where do they come from? They could come from anywhere, right? I mean,
Sure.
yeah, so it could be anybody could suggest, I mean.
Yeah, but we're the ones that oversee the protective zoning bylaws, which we work under. Something like Bill's describing townwide, from my point of view, is not appropriate for our bylaws. That's all.
But there may be stuff that could be tweaked or standards that would be good for us to have. So if we have it, it's okay in our rules and regulations. Our guidelines, lowercase g, could be, this, but we already do have it. I mean,
We already have, we have language in there for dark sky compliance in our landscape regs. And so I support, if any group like this wants to review our landscape regs, that's the first place to look. And if they want to propose changes, we'll hear them out.
I asked them to do that, so that'd be good. That'd be a big help. I met with them,
Yeah.
the groups twice, so
Good.
it's good stuff.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm looking at your direction, because I think we've talked, we got this all right.
That's all I got.
Anything else?
Then when do we get another hearing?
Next week? 2 weeks?
Don't talk about it.
Okay, sorry.
Why?
All right. That is now.
We've been doing other things.
Okay. So next time is just zoning and the regs.
Yeah, perhaps Hillside, I don't know. But it might be a
I'm
determination.
definitely sorry.
Yeah.
What's the motion? Motion to close the meeting?
Did we, I'll make a motion
Yeah.
to close the meeting.
I'll second that. All in favor to close the meeting, please raise your hand. 5-0.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Bill. Hey,
I just want to say, I apologize for the phone thing,
Oh, no, it's okay.
and thank you for the